I think what we call the mind is really a fairly late construction. In fact, no earlier than Descartes. Of course, there are Greek writings about the mind, but we often forget how very different their list of things that they regarded as part of the mind, what they regarded as central to the mind, what they regarded as peripheral was. For example, for Aristotle, the functions of the psyche, which is the term we usually translate as mind or soul from ancient Greek, include digestion and reproduction. And the psyche, as Aristotle explains in his great work on the soul or on the mind, De Anima, is what he calls the form of the whole organized living animal or human body. That's a very different conception from the conception that we've inherited from the 17th century. It's essentially non-dualist, for one thing. Although the dualist conception is sometimes associated with religion.
For instance, when I was a little boy and was being brought up a Roman Catholic, I was told I had a guardian angel on my right side and a tempting devil on my left. And when it came to making a decision of what I would do, the decision would depend on which one had most influence on me. And I must say that in my boyhood, and I think also in the people who were teaching me, they actually concretized those thoughts.
They did what?
It was an angel. That angel is a fact, and the devil is a fact, you see. Otherwise, one thinks of them as metaphors for the energies that are afflicting and guiding you.
Is divinity just what we think?
Yes.
What does that do to faith?
Well, the tough one about faith.
You are a man of faith. You're a man of wonder.
Yeah, I don't have to have faith. I have experience.
What kind of experience?
Well, I have experience of the wonder of life. I have experience of love. I have experience of hatred, malice. I'd like to punch the guy's jaw. And I admit this.
In fact, the high medievals tended more and more to the Aristotelian view than to the Platonic view. The intellect was not identified with the mind, and the soul was not always identified with the mind. And it was really Descartes who was the first to say intellect, soul, and mind are one and the same thing, and basically created the contemporary concept, ruling out functions like digestion and reproduction as no part of the mind, including memory, which was not clearly part of the mind for all of the ancients and medievals. I think it's useful to know that it's not altogether obvious what's in and what's out of the mind. And what we're currently counting as definitely in and definitely out represents a particular view which comes in with modernity.
According to Kant, just as geometry is the form of our spatial awareness, our spatial intuitions, arithmetic is the form of our temporal intuitions. So at the heart of arithmetic is a sequence of numbers, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's a one-dimensional sequence, which corresponds, according to Kant, to our experience of time. We experience space as three-dimensional. We experience time as a one-dimensional sequence, which is the sequence of numbers. So numbers are the way we organize time, one moment after another moment. Geometry is the way we organize space, and put together, they give us the framework of the spatio-temporal world that we experience.
Observe all the senses. There is no center from which you observe. This is not something mysterious something you just observe for yourself, you will see. Our senses inform the brain as pleasant or unpleasant, painful or not painful. And so senses are very important.
Is there something in common in every culture that creates this need for God?
Well, I think anyone who hasn't experienced mystery at all knows that there is a dimension, let's say, of the universe that is not that which is available to his senses.
So, I'd like to start up a conversation, maybe